Hello and welcome to your instructional video for your final project, how to curate a virtual exhibition. So in this assignment, you are going to be selecting 18 artworks from 3 different collections or movements in the modern art period. So it is important that you watch this entire video. I'm going to be showing you how to use Google Sites if that's something that's not familiar to you, and also how to make sure that your site is published before actually submitting your assignment. So let's break down kind of what we need for this assignment. Essentially what you're doing is playing curator and creating your own virtual exhibition with different modern art movements. So what you need is 18 artworks total, an exhibition statement, a statement for each collection, 3 minimum, and a short description of each artwork. The collections are coming from different modern art movements. So for example, 3 collections could be Surrealism, Dadaism, and Impressionism, and you would select 6 artworks from each of those to include in your exhibition. It can be from any artist that just falls in the same time period and are a established, surrealist artist or Dada artist or whatever it might be. You can use the same artist more than once, but definitely not like for the entire 6 artworks that you do. So, for example, Marcel Duchamp is one that falls into Dadaism, but you wouldn't want to select 6 artworks from Marcel Duchamp for the Dada collection. Kind of going forward into the directions for this, we're using Google Sites, which if you're not familiar with that technology, I'm going to show you real quick how to kind of get that set up. We'll click over here. You just need to type in Google Sites into your browser, and then it will pull up, the link that you need to go to. You can either select a template that is already like kind of set up for you, or you can create a new site. Totally up to you. Just for the time's sake of this assignment, I'm going to go ahead and just click a template for you and kind of show you how you can begin editing and changing the look of it. So for this one, if this is the one that I was going to choose, I'm not going to do everything, but I'll tell you what I would do if I were you doing this assignment. So I would definitely change the background picture to something more relevant to the art exhibit, obviously. I would go in here and edit this part right here with my collection title or my exhibition title. So let's say that mine is Women in Modern Art. And I can edit this to say Sarah Shuford, or your name, whatever, however you want to really go about it. There's not one way. I might kind of go down here, maybe take that out altogether, so you can just trash that part. And then here I would put, collections. And then you could change out the photos right here to represent your different movements that you would have. And so on. For your exhibition statement, you definitely want to have that like on your first page, like that be like one of the first things that you see. So if I was using this template, I would just copy all this and take it out and then write my exhibition statement there. I'd also take that information out as well and just probably delete all of that together. One thing that I do like to keep though is the services, or like the tabs that are up at the top here. You can go over to pages. Let me move myself over here. You can go to pages right here and edit all of those different tabs. But for organizational purposes, I like to see the tabs here be your different collections. So you can go right there to services and then properties and change that out to be your collections, and then each collection kind of has its own little area. That's what I would do anyway. The important part in this that I want you to take away from it, and then obviously add all your images here, take those out, do whatever you need to do. But the important thing that I want to show you while I'm on here is how to make your site public and published. So when you're done, when everything is the way that you want it to be, this is just like a draft essentially. So imagine like you're trying to email me and you're just like writing in the draft, but you never hit submit or you never hit send. If you email me the link or you submit the link and it's not published, I'm not going to be able to view your draft Google site. So Make sure you hit publish up here at the top. Also, just for, just safety purposes, I guess, make sure that you check right here that your site is public as well, that it's not accidentally like restricted. I won't be able to see it then as well. You don't have to make me a editor or anything. I can just still be the viewer. And then lastly, my site's not published yet, but if I eventually hit publish, this little icon right here is going to be the correct copy link for you to submit into your assignment submission. So make sure that you come here to copy your URL. Sometimes it gets wonky if you just copy the part at the top. That's what I would do anyway. So again, make sure it's published, make sure that it is public right here with the little person and the plus sign, and that you copy the link that's right there. And then that's really all you need to do. This is really, really user-friendly. You can edit this about however you want to, just to take some clicking around and getting used to. So if you're not someone who's great with technology like myself, I'm not, the best tech person, I would maybe get started on this earlier rather than later, just so that you're able to kind of get familiar with the software and that you're able to, make this work for the best for you. So let's jump back over here into our directions real quick. So what we need to make sure we have is obviously the Google site. Don't use Slides or Google Docs or anything like that. There is a part on the rubric that I would take points off if you don't use the correct format. So you'll definitely get points taken off if you don't use Google Sites, so make sure that you do that. You'll need to select 3 modern art movements, like I said. Remember that modern art is between the 1860s and 1970s. The earliest movement I would select for one of your collections is going to be Impressionism. Anything that falls before Impressionism is kind of falling out of modern art. There's maybe a couple exceptions, but they're very small. So Impressionism and like Fauvism, those are the 2 earliest ones that I want to see being used. When setting up your collections or choosing your collections, a good thing to think about is how you're going to make those collections work together and have sort of a cohesive theme about the whole exhibition. So for example, it doesn't have to mean that they inherently have something in common, like Surrealism, Dadaism, and Impressionism just have something that connects them. But what I would do is make sure that there is some sort of correlation between the artworks that you choose. So like for my site up here that I sort of started making, I put women in modern art. So, if you want that to be about your exhibition, like it's all female artists coming from all 3 of your collections, that would be a way to tie things in and tie your title in as well. It could be that it's all nature inspired. It could be that it's all uses analogous color schemes. Could be whatever you want it to do. And then try to think of a fun way to incorporate that into your title. That's definitely very important, though. You don't want this to seem like it's too random and you're just selecting, different collections and different artworks for no apparent reason. Definitely need to have something that ties them in together, and you express that in your exhibition statement. Make sure that you find high-quality images of your artwork. If you can't find a high-quality image that's not grainy or pixelated or blurry, definitely choose something else. Also, your images that you choose, make sure that it's a good, just straight on, clear picture of the artwork. It's not the artwork in the gallery, unless it's a sculptural piece, obviously. But if it's a 2D piece, it needs to just be, exactly the way that you would see it if you, are just looking at the image. You're not trying to, see what else is in the gallery, all that. For each artwork, you need to include a description as well that has the artist's name, the title of the artwork, the medium, the year, and a little 1 to 2 sentence description of what the artwork is about. So for example, this one here, Frida Kahlo, Little Deer, it says, this painting depicts the face of Frida on a deer that has been shot with many arrows. In it, she expresses her pain and sense of betrayal from her own body as well as from the world. Through this image of distorted reality, she expresses her physical and emotional pain and suffering. So just a really quick little synopsis that tells us maybe a little bit about the form, a little bit about the subject matter, and maybe a little bit about the content as well. You'll need to do that for all 18 images. Remember that. Your exhibition statement should be between 200 and 250 words, no more, no less, really. And then you also need to have 3 short descriptions, 100 to 150 word about each of the collections. So there'll be 3 collection statements and then 1 overall exhibition statement that you'll have there. Just some tips for writing about your artwork and how this should look in your final piece. Imagine this is like something that's being published and put out there for the whole world to see, not just me and not just about you. So try to avoid speaking in first person if you can. Make it seem more just sort of like general speaking to the audience type of thing. Avoid using I, me, I think, myself, and other first person language. And then think about how a major museum would present this collection online or their collections online. And then I have another thing here that shows you how to make sure that you're copying the correct link, and then also just a reminder that you needing to have the website published before actually submitting the link. There are a couple student examples that I have right here that work really well and I think did a really great job of this project. And so if you want to look at how some people have done this in the past, that would be a good place to look here. Please make sure that you are looking at your site for poor grammar, spelling, unclear writing, and that when you actually publish your images that they don't, even if they weren't blurry before, that they don't get blurry on the site, because that's obviously all that I am seeing. I'm not seeing the image that you have saved on your computer. But yeah, make sure you have good organization. It's, very clearly sort of like divided into the collections. It's not too overwhelming to like all on one page, and that you are in fact using Google Sites and not another platform. If you have any other questions or anything about the project, please feel free to reach out to me. I would really recommend getting started on this earlier rather than later, especially if you have issues with technology, or if you, are just not the best with technology, which is totally understandable. But it's definitely one to kind of, get ahead on and not wait until the last second. But I will end here. If you have any further questions, please email me.